Hello, my name is Gabrielle Blanchette, and I graduated this past May with my doctorate in physical therapy from the University of Southern California. And I'm one of the recipients of the APTA Minority Scholarship. And throughout school, I worked with organizations that focused on educational development and mentorship programs for low income minority and homeless youth. And this scholarship has really been a blessing because it's given me the opportunity to continue to work with these individuals in a way that I wasn't able to before, and also continue to fire my passion to serve children who look like me and hope to obtain a higher education such as I have. So I really want to thank the APTA for awarding me this scholarship, and I hope everyone is staying positive and safe. Thank you.
Welcome back, everyone. We made it to the third night of APTA's Celebration of Diversity Virtual Gala to benefit the APTA's Minority Scholarship Fund. Thank you for coming back. We had a great time these past two nights. We are currently streaming live on Zoom as well as Facebook, coming to you from Lockwood Lounge, also known as my basement bar, just outside of Washington, D.C. Now we have a great night planned ahead. We have an awesome keynote speaker. And then after that, as I promised, we're gonna have cocktails. I'm making two cocktails for you. One is going to be alcoholic and one is non-alcoholic. Go ahead to the apta.org and look at the top, you'll see Celebration of Diversity banner. Click on that, scroll down to Saturday, and you'll see the ingredients that we need there for that you need for the cocktails. And after that, we have a DJ, amazing DJ. As I promised, we're gonna have dance music. Those on Zoom, go ahead, get your cameras on and turn your speakers up because we are going to groove. All right, this is a party celebration, but we are trying to raise some money. So please go ahead and let's look at the thermometer. All right, look at that. So we are at $56,000, 691. So to keep everything in perspective, that $56,000 is what we've raised throughout the year up to now. We are trying to raise money during this Celebration of Diversity event. So that money is great. We still want to get up there higher. And to give you, put everything into perspective, last year, just for ticket sales, we made $54,000 for the Minority Scholarship Fund. We don't have that option this year for ticket sales. So we're asking, understand that everybody is, things might be a little tight this year, but we still need a little bit extra here. Folks who would have come, you're not going to pay for a plane ticket or a hotel room. So maybe throw a little bit extra if you can. We really would appreciate it. Now, last year, the other side of that, just from donations, not from the ticket sales, just from donations last year, we made $5,501. All right. These past 2 days, just these 2 days, we've gotten a total of $8,375 in donations. So we have surpassed last year, which is great, amazing in regards to donations. But let's see if we can get to the $10,000 mark for this night. See if we can break that 10,000. Maybe we can break 15. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully we'll be able to do that, folks. Also, do not forget that the silent auction is still going on. That goes on until 8:30 tonight. Again, there's a lot of fun things in there. There's whitewater rafting experience, iPad Pro, PT equipment, sporting event tickets, a lot of great stuff there. And that's going on until 8:30. And those, the proceeds from that will also help benefit the Minority Scholarship Fund. All right, so last night we spoke about fundraising. And tonight we're going to talk about pipelines. And to do all that, I'm going to step back and let Marty Grubel from HPSO give the introduction to the keynote speaker. Take it away, Marty.
Good evening. I'm Marty Grubel, Executive Vice President, HPSO APTA Personal Plans. In conjunction with HPSO, we have been the provider of personal plans insurance like disability insurance and term life insurance since 2015. It's been an amazing 3 evenings of content and fun, all aimed at highlighting that diversity makes us better together. Our similarities provide a great foundation, but it is acceptance and inclusion of our differences on which we build for the future. We'd now like to introduce you to Maria Vazquez-Morgan, PT, PhD. As she presents her keynote, we are on a journey accelerating DEI initiatives. Maria earned a bachelor's degree in physical therapy, a master's degree in health sciences from Louisiana State University Health Sciences Center at Shreveport, and a PhD in health studies from Texas Women's University. And now everyone, help me welcome Maria Vazquez-Morgan.
Good evening. First and foremost, I want to thank the APTA for asking me to speak tonight. It truly is an honor to be part of this gala and celebration, albeit virtually, and be able to convey a little bit about my journey and speak on diversity, inclusion, and equity, as well as the current initiatives being done nationally and at the component level. My journey began as a 5-year-old leaving Buenos Aires, Argentina, and moving to the US. My father was partially fluent in English, but my mother, my 7-year-old brother, and myself only spoke Spanish. I remember my first day of class in first grade in a predominantly Black elementary school. I remember feeling overwhelmed. How would I communicate? How would I get by? I worked hard, adapted quickly. Nevertheless, as the saying goes, the struggle was real. As a first-generation immigrant, English language learner from a lower middle-class family, access to higher education provided a renewed hope for myself as well as my family that the next generation would be better off than the one before. I believe this is why the concepts of diversity, inclusion, and equity have such significance in my journey. I fully acknowledge the blessing of having the ability to further my education. It was a dream that I was able to achieve, and one that took a great deal of hard work as well as perseverance. Now, after 28 years of being an educator, researcher, and clinician, I believe that it is our collective responsibility to serve as well as to challenge the status quo in higher education. We have perhaps the best opportunity in our present-day climate to diminish social and racial injustice and to empower those that are underrepresented and economically disadvantaged. It is ethically and fundamentally the right thing to do. So where are we today in regards to this DEI journey? Data over the last 10 years point to the societal impact of changing demographics in the US and the gaps that exist in numeracy and healthcare professions. Although we have seen a small increase in people of color in our profession in the past decade, PT-CAS's data continues to display a predominantly white applicant pool. And APTA's 2017 demographic analysis displayed only 1.5% of members identified themselves as Black and a mere 2.5% as Hispanic. These numbers certainly do not coincide with the diverse populations that we treat. In addition, we see these same type of discrepancies in campus diversity, which applies to the entire education population, from students to faculty. It takes diverse leadership to facilitate DEI in our student body. For only when students can see themselves in people of color who are breaking the mold, redefining what can be achieved, that will restore their innate right to dream and propel their efforts to make those dreams come true. Students benefit from seeing themselves mirrored in front of the classroom, in the clinic, and in the highest levels of academic leadership. Unfortunately, the demand for diverse PhDs seeking faculty appointments far outweighs the supply. The representation of diversity within the PT professorate is disproportionately white. Our current pandemic state has only heightened these discrepancies. Due to COVID's impact on the labor market, Black and Latino workers are more likely to have lost their jobs, further increasing the wealth gap. This pandemic has also accelerated and worsened educational gaps. Roughly 3/4 of undergraduate students who responded to a recent poll from the Education Trust and Global Strategy Group stated they were worried about being able to stay on track and graduate. Those numbers were higher among Black and Latino students. In addition, in 2020, there was a 7.2% decline in renewals among returning college students with family incomes of less than $25,000, a national drop-off of roughly 240,000 students. Due to these discrepancies, APTA and other healthcare organizations have looked deeper into DEI issues and challenges. Research in this area demonstrates that creating conditions for more diverse and better student performance outcomes will require a fundamental shift in culture. This culture shift includes access and opportunity for all. However, we know that access and opportunity are not enough, because access does not necessarily equate success. Not everyone starts at the same place. So how can we expect the same outcomes to occur? This is why equity is vital. Diversity initiatives without equity do not really get us any further along in our journey. Initiatives that achieve a defined representation of different demographics in our classrooms and our profession are important, but they're only the beginning. For these initiatives to be successful, it is critical to create an environment of inclusion and equity. When we do, we produce more energized and dynamic environments, and we fuel the creation of new knowledge and improved outcomes. It truly is a win-win. To ensure educational equity, it must become a core value and part of our educational strategic plans. In addition, to better integrate equity in our programs, faculty development on equity practices should be implemented. We also need to remember that many students of color encounter challenges outside of the classroom that may affect their success in school, such as housing and food insecurity, lack of transportation, and affording textbooks. Institutions have implemented various initiatives to cover the gap between students' financial aid and their needs. Simply put, equity gives each student what he or she needs to succeed. It differs from equality, which provides the same measures to all students, regardless of need. An equity-minded framework requires us to be conscious of the academic achievement gap and work to reduce it. This begins by changing policies and practices to better support each individual student. There's no doubt that we need to bring in talented and deserving students of color to our profession to help it progress academically, clinically, and culturally. Thankfully, there are bright and eager students of color out there, but many are unaware of where to start or what it takes to make it into the PT profession. One way to increase the number of underrepresented minorities is through the use of pipeline programs. Pipelines allow students to better achieve a competitive GPA before applying to PT school. Their aim is to pair prospective students with current students and/or clinicians and faculty of color with the goal of being a resource. Through these programs, prospective students can receive mentoring on the application process, mock interviews, and even creation of individual development plans. APTA is committed to paving the way for greater diversity and becoming an inclusive organization that reflects the diversity of the society that we serve. To advance DEI initiatives, APTA has recently added DEI as one of the 9 objectives in their strategic plan. It has also established a committee to provide the board with strategic counsel and recommendations for advancing DEI within the association and the profession. To support this commitment, they created a 2-year campaign for future generations. This campaign includes the Dimensions of Diversity Fund, the Minority Scholarship Fund, and the Physical Therapy Fund. They have also offered holistic admissions and DEI webinars. Recently, groups at the component level have also put many DEI initiatives in motion. APTA Massachusetts Board approved a DEI task force to identify opportunities for more inclusivity. PT DEI committees and special interest groups were also created in the states of Wisconsin, Alabama, Michigan, and Louisiana. Pipeline programs, summer research programs, and immersion camps have been implemented throughout the U.S. at a variety of universities and PT programs. I am thankful for these efforts and many more at the component level and nationally to increase DEI in our programs and profession. Although encouraging, by no means should they damper our enthusiasm or passion for continuing to increase our efforts. Given our current economic and racial-related climate, the time for mere discussion has passed, and the time for implementation is now. As we look forward to our continuing journey, We cannot forget the most basic barriers to access that influence our applicant pools. We cannot assume an inherent understanding of barriers that are experienced by prospective first-generation, low-income, rural, and underrepresented minority students. Program directors, administrators, faculty, and clinicians must lead the dialogue on the issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. We need to understand why equity matters and be specific about what can be done to create, nurture, and sustain a culture that can ultimately lead to improving student and patient outcomes. It is time to make DEI a true movement and not a moment, nor a blip on our radar screens. Let's continue to move forward as a profession in our DEI journey, as doing so will enrich our lives as educators, as clinicians, and enrich the quality of life in our students and patients. To end, I leave you with the words from Martin Luther King Jr., who wisely said, "An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity." Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Hi, my name is Mercedes, and I am so honored to have received this amazing scholarship. Being a minority, especially an immigrant coming from Argentina many years ago, I struggled with the identity crisis. I didn't feel fully part of my culture because I wasn't living in my country, and I didn't feel like I was a true American because I was an immigrant. The only thing that I knew was that hard work pays off as I looked up to my parents, and I had to build my own identity, my own future, which led me to physical therapy. So I want to thank you for appreciating my efforts, because I know the people who have received this have worked so hard for it. And I want to thank the APTA for helping me grow professionally and as a clinician. And thank you so much for donating to the APTA's Minority Scholarship Fund.
Welcome back. Glad you were able to hear that message. That was a very good one. I also hope you were able to be here for all 3 nights, because videos like that combined with the panel we had on night 1 really make a powerful statement. And I hope everyone was able to be a part of that. All right, who's ready for a cocktail? So previously I mentioned I was going to make 2 cocktails, 1 alcoholic and 1 non-alcoholic. Let's start off with the non-alcoholic beverage. This is called Thanksgiving Day Punch, and you're about to find out why. Is 3 ingredients and a garnish. Not much to do here, pretty simple. I did go ahead and pre-make one just for the interest of time. And all I did was I took a ½ gallon of apple cider, 3 ounces of caramel syrup. You can find that anywhere, any grocery store, it's not that hard. And some pumpkin spice. So 2 tablespoons of pumpkin spice, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin spice. All right, so all I did was just combine all those together, put them in a pot, and started mixing them together, mixing it in. And while I was stirring it in, I had a couple of apple slices, so about 3, I put a few apple slices in there. Now, this can be served warm, chilled, or at room temperature. I definitely prefer warm for a couple of reasons. One of them, it leaves a very good, nice aroma throughout the house. The other reason is the flavor comes out a little bit better. Now, you stir it when you get started, keep it warm, don't get it too hot. You don't want it boiling because you still want to be able to drink it. But also, whenever you refill your glass, make sure you stir it a little bit so everything gets mixed back in. It gets mixed back in. That pumpkin spice likes to rise up to the top and kind of settle somewhere. All right, so let's try a little bit. See if I can get an apple slice in here. Cheers. Very, very tasty. All right. Again, this is non-alcoholic, under 21, more than welcome to try it. All right, let's get on to the next one. This next beverage, I wasn't sure if I would like it or not, but I actually did, and I'm glad I tried it. This is called the Pecan Pie Martini. And folks, this has some alcohol in it. All right, let's get started. So what you will need is you will need caramel syrup, ground cinnamon, about 2 cups of roasted chopped pecans. You need a little bit of whole pecans. They can be roasted or they cannot be roasted. Same with the chopped pecans. They don't have to be roasted. And whipped cream and some liquor. Rum chata, creme de coco, and bourbon. All right, let's get started. So first of all, you want to get a plate full of this caramel syrup. And you want to pour that on there. I got some in there, but I'm gonna put some more in here. You want to get a nice thick layer there for your martini glass. And then as you see here, I have the chopped pecans already chopped, nice thick layer of that. And what you want to do is you want to take this martini glass and you want to roll it in here. Get a nice thick layer right on there. Yeah. Get that good and thick caramel and then mix it in here, right here with the pecans. And you want the pecans to be a nice thick layer in there too. Trust me, it'll work. It'll be better. Tastes very good. All right. Set that right here. And then we are ready to mix the cocktail. So what you will have is 2 ounces of rum chata, 2 ounces of creme de coco, 1 ounce of bourbon. You take some ice, a few ice cubes in there. Then you get to shaking. I'm not going to do my Tom Cruise cocktail impression. Let's see how many of you all get that one. Get it nice and mixed up in there. And then you just pour this in. Look at that. Wow. Tasty to me. That looks really good, right? We are not done, folks. Get this whipped cream here. Get a nice little, let's call it a little dollop, but I'll put a lot in there. And top it with a roasted pecan. Pop open the ground cinnamon. Garnish it with that. And you have yourself a pecan pie martini. Check that out. Cheers, folks. Wow, that is very good. That caramel really sets it off there. All right, I know you're ready for the DJ, you're ready to dance. The DJ is ready for you. We have 1 message left, and then when we come back, I will introduce you to who is going to help you groove. So get ready, get your kids, get loose, do your calisthenics, whatever you have to do to get ready. After this message, we'll be right back.
Believe it or not, 2020 is almost over. Even though we've been tied to our computers, it's felt harder than ever to keep up with what's going on. So get out your calendars because here are a few important dates coming up. October 17th, that's the last night of our 3-day celebration of diversity to raise money for the Minority Scholarship Fund. If you donate at least $10, your name will be included on the community wall in our new national headquarters, opening next year. It's a little money for a big impact. November 4th through 8th. That's when we'll hold live virtual programming for APTA's National Student Conclave. APTA student members who register for the virtual event will save 50% on their registration for APTA's Combined Sections meeting, coming to you virtually in February 2021. So spread the word. January 1st. It won't be a happy new year for our profession and patients if CMS goes ahead with the proposed payment cuts. The time to act is now, and there are lots of ways to do it. This critical advocacy effort isn't limited to members or even our profession. Get your family and friends involved because every voice counts, but only if you use it. January 15th. Okay, this will be cool. January 15th is APTA's Founders Day, our association's 100th birthday. Our association began with a meeting of trailblazing women at a New York steakhouse and has grown to a thriving national community representing more than 100,000 PTs, PTAs, and students. We've got lots of great things planned for our centennial year, and this is just the beginning. February 1st through 28th. The month of February will be a showcase for APTA's Combined Sections meeting, which will be virtual in 2021, but as exciting as ever. Hundreds of sessions and posters, thousands of participants, tons of knowledge to advance your career. We can't wait to see you there in our centennial year. If you missed any of these dates, you can find them at apta.org. Thank you for your support, commitment, and participation. Thank you for being the community that is APTA.
All right, folks, welcome back. I promised you a DJ, and we are going to have one. We're going to have a dance party, but I could not have a dance party in this house without these two girls here knowing that the dance is going to happen. This is Simone and Jackie. We're about to party, but I do want to give thank you to a few folks. I forgot to do it earlier. Can you please hand me that? This is a very good, this took a long time, a lot of work, 3 days worth of effort. And I would be remiss if I didn't thank a lot of people here. So first, I want to thank the production team, Tracy Patterson, Kyle Edwards, Jabron Ishmael, Alex Von Bredo. Running the silent auction, Karen Blahovic, Carmen Elliott, who moderated the scholarship recipient panel, and the rest of the APTA Celebration of Diversity team, Bill Boisenalt, Anita Doherty Bemis, Katie Gilchrist, Tracy Harris, Julie Hilgenberg, Mary Evers, Stephen Chesbro, Hadia Green, Carrie Jones, and Dave Keene. Thank you very much, everybody. Please thank them, because it was easy for me to stand here and run my yap in front of you all, but they did all the hard work. All right, we are ready to dance. Are you ready to dance, Jackie?
Yeah.
All right. So everybody, let's get ready. Listen to the awesome DJ of DJ Miss Her.
Thank you. And now over to Paxton.
Hey, folks. Oh, man, that was awesome. You guys were amazing. Thank you, Miss Her. We're going to try to get her back in a few minutes, so don't go away. We're going to try to see if she can send us off one last time. All right, folks, this was amazing. You all were great. We had fun. As we know, this is a fundraiser. Let's see if we were able to break that $10,000 mark on the thermometer. Let's check that out right now. 58,000. We're almost there. We still have a little bit of time, folks. Go ahead to pick up your phone, 41444. In the message, put APTA space, the amount you want, space your name and then get your donation on the scrolling thing there. $10 gets you on the wall at APTA's new building headquarters. Oh man. Okay, this is good. This is great. One last thing. Let's go ahead and have Sharon Dunn, who wants to say, have a little bit, say one last parting words for you. Take it away, Sharon.
Thank you, Paxton. What an incredible 3 nights that we had, and what is an unusual celebration of diversity. But boy, did I ever like chair dancing on my porch. It was a great night tonight, and I couldn't be more pleased with the turnout. And I threw a challenge out a while ago on the Zoom platform. If you're listening by Facebook, any program director of a PT or a PTA program, I've challenged you to a $500 donation. Our minority students, especially now, need our help, and those that are in our programs now and those well into the future. So if you can spot it, because you've not been traveling this year, there's a little money in the tank somewhere to give to this most important initiative of APTA. Thank you for those who did the keynote addresses. Kai Kennedy, Rob, you touched my heart last night, and finally my colleague Marie Vazquez-Morgan. We've been inspired, we've been challenged, and there's so much to do. We're just beginning, and all I want to say is thank you to everyone for your heart in the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives of APTA. Our world will be a better place when we do better in this area. And go vote. Love you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks, Paxton.
Thank you, Sharon. So good to see you. Glad you were grooving there with the music. All right, folks, there's no way we can sufficiently thank you. You all do so much for us. This is so helpful. We really appreciate this. We did it. We had a great night. Thank you for hanging out at my bar. My daughters loved it. One of them is still outside, grooving outside on the patio. Okay, this is it. I'm gonna stop talking. It's time for me to go. We're gonna get one more time with DJ Miss Her. Send us off, folks. Send us off.